What happens when America's biggest pop star meets late night, television's most beloved host, and everything goes completely off the rails? Tonight, we're diving into the shocking confrontation that left audiences speechless, producers panicking, and an entire industry questioning where the line between entertainment and exploitation really is. This isn't your typical awkward celebrity interview. This is something far deeper, something raw, uncomfortable, and unforgettable. It all started on what was supposed to be just another light-hearted evening on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Taylor Swift had been there countless times before. The sketches, the games, the laughter. Her visits had always gone viral for all the right reasons. For years, this show had been her safe space, a place where she could promote her albums without fear of being blindsided. So when her team confirmed another appearance to promote her latest release, everyone expected the usual charm offensive. The crew prepared the games. The writers drafted their harmless questions, and Jimmy himself was genuinely excited. But from the moment Taylor walked out on stage, something was different. The smile was there, but it didn't reach her eyes. Her wave to the cheering audience looked more like a reflex than genuine warmth. As she sat down, the tension in her shoulders was visible, even to those watching at home. Jimmy, ever the professional, didn't seem to notice. He opened with his trademark enthusiasm. "Taylor Swift, everybody! Always such a pleasure to have you back," the audience roared. Taylor gave a small smile. "Thanks, Jimmy. Good to be back." But her tone carried a chill that didn't match the applause. Jimmy dove straight into the conversation. "So your new album is incredible. I've been listening to it non-stop. But I have to ask, fans are dying to know, track 7. It feels really personal." What inspired that one? The question hung in the air a little too long. Taylor's expression shifted, her eyes narrowing, her jaw tightening. "Well, Jimmy, that's kind of the point of songwriting, isn't it? To make it personal. To turn real experiences into something people connect with." There was an edge to her voice that he completely missed. "Oh, totally," he said quickly, laughing. "But come on, you know how this works. You've shared so much with our audience over the years. Surely you can give us a little hint about who that song might be about." And that's when everything changed. The practiced media smile vanished. Taylor leaned forward slightly, her tone suddenly razor-sharp. "Who it might be about, Jimmy? Are you seriously asking me to name names on national television?" The audience chuckled nervously, thinking she was joking. Jimmy mistook it for encouragement and grinned. "I mean, your fans love a little detective work. They're always trying to figure out who inspired which song. Track 7's a mystery. Throw us a bone here." "A bone?" she repeated, her voice now cold. "You want me to throw you a bone about my personal life for entertainment value?" The studio energy shifted instantly. Producers backstage started exchanging worried looks. Jimmy's smile wavered, but he tried to save it with humor. "Hey now, don't get all serious on me. This is The Tonight Show, not 60 Minutes. We're just having fun here, right, folks?" The audience hesitated, unsure whether to laugh or stay silent. Taylor didn't flinch. "Fun," she said quietly. "Let me ask you something. Jimmy, when was the last time someone asked you to dissect your personal relationships on national television for fun?" You could feel the air get heavier. Jimmy blinked, taken off guard. "Well, that's different," he said quickly. "I'm the host, you're the artist. Your songs are about your life. Naturally, people are curious." "Naturally curious," she repeated, her tone icy. "So because I'm an artist who writes about my experiences, I automatically owe the world every detail of my private life, every heartbreak, every conversation I turn into art." Jimmy shifted in his seat, clearly uncomfortable now. "Look, Taylor, I didn't mean to upset you. We've always had such great conversations here. I thought we were friends." "Friends," she said, the word dripping with bitterness. "Friends don't exploit each other's pain for ratings. Friends don't turn someone's vulnerability into a punchline. Friends don't cash in on trust for a good segment." Jimmy looked stunned. "Taylor, come on. You know I've never meant it like that. We've had so many amazing moments. Remember the friendship bracelet thing? The surprise cake? That was all real." "Oh, it was real," she said softly. "That's what makes this worse. I actually trusted you. I thought you were different from the others. But I was wrong." The audience was completely silent now. This wasn't an interview anymore. This was something else, something raw and personal unfolding live. Jimmy tried to recover. "I do care about you, Taylor. Sometimes in this business, lines get blurred, but my respect for you has always been genuine. Respect? She asked, her voice cutting through the quiet. You call it respect when you make jokes about my dating life in your monologues? When you use my relationships as punchlines during other guests' interviews? That's your idea of respect? Jimmy's face turned pale. Taylor, I think you're blowing this out of proportion. Comedy pushes boundaries. You've always been such a good sport about it. Her laugh was short and bitter. A good sport. Do you know what being a good sport has cost me? It's cost me relationships with people who believe the caricature your show and others have created. It's cost me the ability to date without wondering if my heartbreak will become your next joke. It's cost me my peace of mind. The audience didn't move. No one dared to. Jimmy swallowed hard. I never wanted to hurt you. Intentions don't erase impact, she replied. You can mean well and still be part of a system that profits off of tearing women apart for entertainment. Jimmy's composure cracked. Okay. What do you want me to do? How do we fix this? You can't fix this, Taylor said simply. Because this isn't about one bad question. This is about years of treating my life like a game. It's about people thinking they're entitled to every part of me. Taylor, please, he said, his voice shaking. Let's talk about this privately after the show. Let's just get back to your album. No, she said firmly. Let's talk about it right here. Because this is exactly the problem. Everyone's comfortable consuming the performance. No one wants to deal with the truth. Jimmy tried to keep his tone calm. You're one of the most powerful artists on the planet. You've built this incredible empire. You have millions of fans. You've won. Taylor looked at him with a sadness that cut deeper than anger. Power doesn't buy privacy, Jimmy. Success doesn't protect dignity. I can't buy the right to make mistakes without becoming a headline. I can't buy the right to fall in love without it becoming a spectacle. The studio lights seemed to dim around her words. Jimmy's voice broke slightly. I never saw it like that. Of course you didn't, she said. You didn't have to. You've never had your worth measured by who you date. You've never been turned into a punchline for living your life. He nodded weakly. You're right. I'm sorry. I truly am. But sorry doesn't fix it, she said. Sorry doesn't change the system. Sorry doesn't undo the years. I spent smiling through the jokes so people would think I was easy to like. She took a deep breath. Do you know what I realized tonight? I've spent most of my career being what people wanted me to be. Sweet, polished, grateful. I've played along because I was told that was the price of being likable. But I'm done paying that price. Jimmy looked almost desperate now. Taylor, wait, please. Don't walk away like this. We can figure something out. We can make this right. She shook her head. This isn't about fixing a segment. Jimmy, this is about finally choosing my own dignity over someone else's comfort. Think about your fans, he pleaded. They love seeing you here. They feel connected to you through moments like this. Don't use my fans to guilt me, she said sharply. They love me for my music. They don't need me to sacrifice my peace to feel connected. They understand boundaries even if you don't. Jimmy looked lost. But this is how the industry works. You can't just opt out. Taylor stood, her movement deliberate and final. Watch me! The audience gasped as she rose from her chair. Watch me opt out of a system that dehumanizes me. Watch me refuse to smile while my life is dissected for entertainment. Watch me choose silence over spectacle. Jimmy stood too, his voice trembling. Taylor, please. Don't do this live. Let's just talk. But she was already walking toward the edge of the stage. You know the saddest part? She said quietly. I really did think you were my friend. I defended you when people said you used your guests for content. I told them you cared. I believed it. Jimmy's voice cracked. Taylor, I do care. She turned back to him one last time. Then start proving it by treating people like humans, not headlines. And with that, she walked off stage. The audience sat frozen. No applause, no noise, just stunned silence. Jimmy stood there, pale and speechless, his usual grin completely gone. For a few long seconds, the cameras stayed on him. Then the broadcast abruptly cut to commercial. But it was too late. The moment was already out there, raw, unfiltered, and impossible to contain. Clips flooded social media within minutes, millions of views within hours. The hashtags Taylor vs Jimmy and Respect Artists trended worldwide. Some people sided with Taylor, calling it a long overdue reckoning for how women are treated in entertainment. Others defended Jimmy, saying he was just doing his job. But everyone agreed on one thing. This wasn't just another celebrity outburst. It was a shift. A moment that made people rethink what we expect from public figures and what they actually owe us. In the following days, The Tonight Show released a carefully worded statement about creative misunderstandings. Jimmy avoided public appearances for a week. Taylor stayed silent, letting the footage speak for itself. And for once, silence said everything. Because this wasn't just about one question, one interview, or even one host. It was about years of normalizing invasiveness under the guise of curiosity. Years of turning women's lives into talking points. Taylor Swift didn't just walk off a stage that night. She walked away from an expectation that artists must be endlessly open, endlessly available, endlessly performing. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most powerful performance she's ever given.